Today's episode is brought to you by the CU Daily.
Welcome to the CU Dailycast. I'm Walt Lascos. Joining me today is Ashley White, Senior VP and Chief Marketing Officer at Wescom Financial in Pasadena, California. Given her marketing responsibilities, Ashley had an instrumental role in a recent rebranding at the credit union that saw the organization change its name to Wescom Financial, dropping the words credit union from the name, a move that we've seen becoming more common in recent days. Ashley, thank you so much for being with us today on the CU Dailycast.
Thank you so much for having me, Walt. Great to be here.
Well, let's set the stage for our viewers, Ashley. What prompted the rebranding at the credit union and what all did it entail?
Yes, thank you for the question. Since 2014, Walt, we started to really increase our brand awareness efforts. We started to do more media buying. We actually announced our official partnership with UCLA Athletics and the Rose Bowl Stadium, and then since then, Knott's Berry Farm. And really, the focus of those efforts were to increase our brand awareness. And we've done a great job of that over several years. However, the one thing we kept hearing and kept understanding from the consumer who were considering us as a financial institution is that they didn't quite know we were a financial institution or a credit union. They understood Wescom and they appreciated Wescom, and we were very predominant in the community, but they couldn't make that connection that we're a financial institution. So over the years, our senior leadership, our board of directors have been talking about making this shift to from Wescom Credit Union to Wescom Financial. And that's really what prompted this rebrand. We knew we needed to reach the consumer to let them know that we're a full service financial institution that can meet your needs. So that's really what got us to think about making this transition and to get us to where we are today.
And when you look at the whole rebranding process, what all did it really entail? Was it conducted, with an outside agency, or was this all conducted in-house?
Absolutely. We have been very fortunate to work with Grail Brand Designs, and they have been our partners in the marketing and communication and advertising space for over a decade. And the one thing that, when partnering with our Grail team, I mentioned is that I want this decision to be weighed in research and data. That needs to be very important. Let's understand from the consumer what their perception is of Wescom Credit Union and compare it to a perception of Wescom Financial. So they led our efforts in building focus groups that were millennials and Gen Zers from Los Angeles County and Orange County, so we can get a nice diverse perception of what their thoughts were around Wescom Credit Union. And in that way, we could build an advertising campaign and make the decision of whether or not to transfer to Wescom Financial based on what those perceptions were and then how it can help us with our growth goals at the credit union.
And Ashley, I could see and understand particularly when you're getting to it, in terms of data, because that is so important as part of something that's going to be as comprehensive as a rebrand, and also the focus groups that you talk about. Tell us a little bit more about the findings that you got from the focus groups and from the data that you received, and how that influenced the whole shaping of this brand.
Yes, I really am a believer of focus groups and talking because they are the consumers. They are the ones making the decisions. And it was very interesting to be in that room and observing the conversations with the millennial group and the Gen Z group when we showcased Wescom Credit Union and just the aspect of credit union. What was interesting about both groups is that they perceive credit union as being an older way of banking, that they weren't up to speed with the latest technologies. They didn't provide a lot of products and services that fit their particular needs. They even compared it to, I think that's my grandparents used to bank at credit unions, right? And that's one of the things that really surfaced from the findings there. And so, but when we introduced the concept of Wescom Financial and drafted a draft logo of Wescom Financial, it's interesting. Their conversation expanded a little bit. There was this inherent curiosity of, they provide financial services. And right away, when they made that transition, when they were talking about credit union and then to financial services, we knew right then and there that there was an opportunity for us to really change the perception to the market by transitioning to Westcom Financial. And that's really what spearheaded this entire initiative for us.
It's kind of interesting because, in saying this and getting the feedback that you got that influenced the decision, I wonder if those types of responses would vary given the geographic territory that one might be in and the populace that you're speaking to. Because, when you hear the understanding of credit union and then going to financial within the marketplace you're at, the folks there are going to have a certain perspective. But now, if you went to another part of the country, would you think that some of that feedback might be different?
That's a great question, Walt, and it's very possible. Remember, that focus group was in Orange County, Los Angeles, number two media market in the country. And in fact, the facilitators did a great job of really getting a sense of who do they bank with. And they started naming all the typical players, right? All the big banks. They started naming fintechs. So this is very much a group of individuals that really are banking with the bigger banks. None of them were members of credit unions, and that was specific because we wanted to understand if this is our target audience to help grow our membership base, not just now, but these are going to be our future members. Then we need to understand what their thinking is behind the credit unions, and we got that. We got that for sure. And you're right. I do think other parts of the country, the credit unions maybe have a higher perception, but we just know, especially here in Southern California and even in Central California, it is very competitive to compete for financial institution business. So that's what was really helped fuel this effort as well. And that's what we wanted to get. We wanted to get what their thoughts were around financial institutions.
Yeah. And of course, too, Ashley, as we both would agree, being structured as a credit union extends far beyond the actual words that are in your name.
That's
So,
right.
how does Westcom Financial now intend to communicate its cooperative business model and philosophy going forward?
Absolutely. And when I think about that question, I think about our team and how they support our members. I think about our branch network. I think about our member contact center, how they showcase that perception of really people helping people, that it's in the way they provide their service to our members. That has not changed, and that will only continue to get stronger. It's not about what is beneficial for Westcom Financial. We approach every single member of where they are in their financial journey, but more important, what do they aspire to do? And how we support members whether they're communicating with us via chat or whether they're through text or through phone or in the branch. It's all about what their needs are, and that's where we lean into sort of that member centric way of doing business. And so now, as Westcom Financial, not only do they continue to get that personalized service from us and how we communicate, how we support the community, they're going to be able to now do that proudly behind Westcom Financial, knowing that we continue to offer a wide variety of products and services for them. So it's really all about how we serve our member is how we're going to communicate that moving forward.
And actually, you're always going to have people that are going to have some angle on this that they're going to say, uh, you know, Perhaps is this downplaying of the words credit union the first step in transitioning the organization toward a non-cooperative, for-profit banking model? How would you respond to something like that?
That's a very fair question. Well, and I recognize that concern. What I will say is that Wescom Financial, we are grounded through the credit union movement. We are a credit union. Our legal name is Wescom Central Credit Union. That's who we are. We are not changing. We, even though we are Wescom Financial, our goal is really focused on the member and making sure that we make their dreams come true from a financial perspective. We are focused on our core values. Our core values haven't changed as well, and those core values align with the credit union movement. That's what we're all about. Uh, we are continuing to operate in that non-for-profit cooperative, and that's also what's also going to be very important for us moving forward. So we haven't changed who we are. And we told our members that from day one, but it was also important, Walt, that our team members believed that too. Because again, they're the ones servicing our members. So if our team members don't believe it, then that's going to be a really big challenge. So making sure that as senior leaders, we made a promise to our members, our team members, and our community that we're not changing who we are. We just want to invite more consumers to be part of what we've been building over the past 90 years. So that's the goal.
Well, exactly. And your DNA has not changed. It may be an outward appearance that has changed a little bit, but the DNA, the heart, the soul, everything that's there
Yes.
is still the same as it has always been. But
Mhm.
maybe not, maybe even better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we can invite more of the market, the consumers, to really showcase how we are very much a great, if not the best option for you. If we can showcase that to the market, then that's where we want to be.
Given the rebrand and your experience of it, any lessons learned that you may wish to share with our audience?
Absolutely, because it's a big undertaking shifting from Westcom Credit Union to Westcom Financial. So especially for those who may be considering it, one of the lessons we learned that was really important was bringing our members and our team members along through the journey. We included them in key aspects. We had them vote on our tagline. We had them vote on the design for our mobile banking branch for that refresh. We brought everyone, our key stakeholders, along the way. And that was really important. So they felt they were part of this transition versus it being an isolated decision from a senior leadership perspective. So that's so important to involve your members and your team members in this particular journey. The other thing I will say is in a similar aspect is I made sure on my role to bring our senior leadership and our board of directors along as well. So showcasing what those results were from the focus groups and showcasing also how we're going to not just make a change from a brand perspective, we're going to also really update our advertising campaign to really have more of a bolder pop look from a marketing perspective to go along with this change. So those are sort of the two things as I look back and look at the fantastic work from our team to get this done. Those are the two things that I thought made this successful.
Well, we're going to take a little short break here, and then we'll be right back with the last word. Stay with us.
From the halls of NCUA to the front steps of your credit union, we're covering all the latest breaking news and opinions shaping and challenging the credit union industry like never before. Begin every day reading the CU Daily. Subscribe today.
Well, I'm back with Ashley White, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Wescom Financial in Pasadena, California. And Ashley, it's the last word, and that last word is yours. So, what any kind of guidance, any kind of last thoughts that you have that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
Again, thanks for having me, Walt. And I think our conversation today just really reminds me of where we are from a credit union industry standpoint. In fact, I had the pleasure of attending the Financial Brand Forum a few weeks ago, and we talked about how we're at the stage of disruption when it comes to marketing, even especially in the financial institution industry. We have a real opportunity here right now as credit union leaders to ensure and look at our marketing and to make sure that we're telling authentic stories about the value the credit union movement brings. And I think that's going to be very important as we look at our plans and our strategies for the future, is to really take a look at how are we marketing the credit union industry. That's going to be super, super important for all of us moving forward. And speaking of the future of the credit union movement, one of the things I wanted to mention today is that Wescom Financial is participating in the Don't Tax My Credit Union campaign. And this is a campaign to educate lawmakers on really the importance of credit unions and the non-exempt tax status that we have. And the tax status that we have that's non-exempt helps us really put discounts of products and services and really focus on giving back to the member. And so that's why it's going to be important to continue to educate our lawmakers to showcase that credit unions are all about the members who are their constituents. So ensuring that we continue to have that tax exemption is going to be very important. So if you go to don'ttaxmycreditunion.org and participate as an industry, our voices together are very powerful. So that's one thing that we're going to make sure that we are going to be continuing to focus on here in the near future.
Ashley White, thank you so much for your time today and for joining us on the Daily Cast.
Thank you so much. Great being here.
And that's a wrap for us for the CU Daily Cast. I'm Walt Lascos. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.